rehabilitating anybody. Not really. If rehabilitation comes along, it's usually because the incarcerated citizen themselves want to do better for themselves, because it is not really the facility that is going to be correcting them. If you mean corrections means abusing power against them, then they do that. If that means depriving them of basic human needs, they do that. But that's not going to correct anybody. That's going to make people more angered at the system. That's going to make more people buck the system. That's going to make more people come back. But that was the intention. They always wanted you to come back. They got to keep this machine going. They got to keep it going. It's a money maker. You got to keep it going. So if you lose all the product, which is the people, you have no business. So why would they want to correct? Correct would mean that you would lower your population over time. And they don't want to lower it because it's been a money maker. But now the problem is you don't have enough people to run your business. The employee shortage means it's not enough people to run that business. You want the business, but you just ain't got enough now. Department of Corrections are not doing what it was meant to do correct. I actually got into that. But yeah, they're not doing that. So what is the point of calling them the Department of Corrections? But they never wanted to correct. They want to shelve human life. That's the whole intent. That's like Walmart parting with their products, getting their products off the shelves. If you do that, there's no business. Like, why would they want to do that? So they're not correcting. They're not doing what they actually said that they were there to do. It became something else. It became something more than what it was. Okay, so let me finish this up because I do got to hurry up and get out of here because it's getting late. It's almost 2:00 and, it's all of the interruptions. But yes, we are trying to do something today as well. Okay, so number 6, your tax dollars are funding a human warehouse. Just like Squid Games, these are non-disposable, irreplaceable human lives that the powerful toy with. These are humans. And that's all that I can say on that, because if you watch that series, the way that they were just messing with people's lives, having one fight against another for a certain prize. Like for us, the prize is to just make it in life. Life is so hard to make. And so we at the bottom, because we can't gain financially. Most people cannot make enough money. Like we just can't. Just as we couldn't make enough money for the lawyer. Over all this time, I still haven't been able to make enough lawyer money. I've had to work. I had to be a single mother behind this wrongful conviction. We just don't have the funds to provide for our families like we should be able to. And because of it, they end up in these systems like this that are ran by very powerful money making people, like have lots of money, and they see that this is a business and that it is bringing them in money. So they forget the aspect, like in the Squid Games, how it was just pleasure. They had so much money to the point where they didn't know what to do. So they figured, let's just start, instead of betting on horses, let's start toying with human lives. Like, it was fun and games to them, but these were actually affecting and even causing deaths of humans in that game. And it's similar. Like when you're reaching out for help because your loved one is being mistreated, they treat you as though it's nothing. When you're saying that, hey, my husband is being treated a certain way because of the color of his skin, they treat it as though it's nothing. That could be my loved one's life. but you don't care because they're disposable human beings in your sight. But in our sight, they're our loved ones, they're our brothers, they're our sons, they're our husbands, they're our cousins. Like, they're not disposable to us. So, that's the part that you have to realize that they're taking money. So basically, I'm a taxpayer. So I'm paying for Marcello to be incarcerated. Inevitably, I'm paying for that. I'm paying for him to be in that bed, filling that bed. I'm paying for the little amount through tax dollars, the small amount of food, non-nourishing food that they give them, the food that leads to all types of health issues later, high blood pressure, diabetes. A lot of prisoners have gotten out. They're on dialysis and stuff. Their health so much plummeted because they're being fed food that sometimes says not for human consumption. Like, how do you expect them to get out and be healthy? But it's because you're not seeing them as human. You don't care if they get out and be healthy. But the ways that they are getting this money is through our tax dollars. We're funding this machine, whether you know it or not. I'm funding Marcello being imprisoned. So you have the power to decide where your tax dollars go, but if they keep you blinded and in the dark, you're gonna think that they're doing the right things with your tax dollars. You think this system is working. You think it's there because they had to. The opening statement, they're just prisoners. They had to have done something wrong, and who cares about them? That is why it continues. As long as you're blinded and in the dark, it will continue. And that is the desired, they want that to happen. Okay, so now we are to number 7, the biggest one. I got this sun beaming in. You can't even see me no more. Oh, shoot. Then the phone soon is going to overheat. So let's let this window up. Okay, and let's get into my number 7. Why should you care? It literally could be you or your loved one that's imprisoned in Florida DOC. Not just the incarcerated are affected. The whole family is infected. I'm sorry, let me say that over. I'm sorry. It literally could be you or your loved one. What if the tables turned and it no longer was some random person that shouldn't have did what they did, and it was your son, it was your husband, or it was you yourself that was sitting in Florida DOC? Is Florida DOC up to standards that you would want to live in? That your loved ones would want to live in, that could just survive in? Not saying that they want to live there, but could they live properly as a human being? Could they have the water, the clean water that they need, the air, the clean air, the food, regular food for human consumption? Are these things that you could deal with if it were you, your son, or your husband, or your father? Can you live under these situations? And then also know that it is not just the incarcerated person that shouldn't have done what they did. It is also the whole family that gets affected. And for all that flooding of human life that DOC can't even contain, that's a large number of people. For each individual that is incarcerated there, that whole family's life is being affected. That whole family's life is being affected. And Marcello's on the phone. So this affects my pockets. This is a $5 call. But this is the way I keep in touch with him. Thank you. It's your girl Cadillac.